Rise Against, here we go. I gotta tell you this because I just noticed this as I'm sitting right next to you and so close. Your eyes are two different colors.
Yeah,
and that's awesome.
I got one blue and one brown.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and not just stare at that because I'm just like that. I don't know.
You can stare
Now I just want
longingly
to
into
stare
my
at your
eyes.
eyes right now
Yeah.
too.
Just regular old brown eyes.
No, but I'm getting lost in them brown eyes right there. Rise Against played the big ass show before a long time ago, right? It was like sort of a weird acoustic thing that ended
That's
up
right.
happening, right?
Joe got married that day.
I got married that
Right.
day.
And so he couldn't make it, and we were like, well, we'll go play it acoustic, and then we went to Chicago and made Joe's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did both. It was me and our guitar player Chris. We played acoustic, which we hadn't really done before.
That was a new thing
That
for
was a new
sure.
thing. And then we played the show, got back on the plane, and went to Chicago and made it in time for Joe's wedding. So it was a busy day.
Yeah, why didn't you come? If they could make it back in time for your wedding. why
Well,
didn't
you know, I was trying, but
Because it wasn't likely that we were going to make it, and we didn't even make the actual ceremony.
No,
we
yeah.
made like the party afterwards.
So you have your priorities. I get it. That's
We were actually just talking about it. It was like, why didn't we just say no? Like, it was like, it was like, that was like definitely a time in our lives where it was like, if there was a show to be played, we would do anything that we could to play it. You know.
Well, and I just remember being there because that was when I had just barely first started working for X96. I just remember being like, this is so awesome because I'd known that, I didn't know that it was a wedding. I thought it was like a family emergency or something like
right.
that. And I just thought it was super like integritous, if that's a word, of you guys to be like, yeah, we're playing this thing.
Yeah,
Come watch us, do this awesome
we would
acoustic thing.
we would just find ways to do it. There was a show in Arizona where somebody asked us to do, and a couple days before maybe or a week before, Brandon had like a medical thing happening.
Jeez.
And so we didn't even consider canceling. We said, well, we know a guy in Arizona who plays drums.
Really?
We'll just call him. And that's what we did. We called the guy. He plays drums in Good Riddance. And without even really going over the set with him,
Oh my
we
gosh.
got on stage with him, and he nailed it. By the way.
Really?
The only time we jammed with them was an hour before the set.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Really quick, and I
And then we
think
had,
it went
and then we had to
alright.
go to Australia once, and Joe called, and he had a medical thing happening.
I did.
And so he's like,
Will
I
you
can't.
guys just get healthy for crying
I know,
out loud?
right? He's like, we can't make it to Australia, and we didn't even consider canceling. We said, well, let's call this guy we know in New York who doesn't have a passport and make him fly to Australia in 48 hours. As a tourist, by the way, because if you come in the country without a visa, they get mad at you. So we sent him in as a tourist, and we met our buddy from Brooklyn in Australia and played a whole festival tour opening for System of a Down. And
Jeez.
yeah, and we somehow, I know we were just talking about that actually because we were thinking the last time we played here and just the lengths that we went to make this show happen.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.
But everyone's healthy today, right? We're looking forward to a good,
We'll
healthy.
see. The day's not over.
It could be
know what
lightning
Yeah,
strikes.
that's
we're
right.
not really-
Yeah, right.
It's so great to have you guys here, and just fun to see everything that's going on. Give me some gush. Tell me what's going
up
on.
with Rise Against? We're still touring off our record, The Black Market,
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We're doing a lot of festival weekends. We're off to Europe in a couple of weeks to do some shows over there for all of June. We're going to be on the road throughout North America with Killswitch Engage in July. I don't think we have to sell like proper.
Yeah,
but,
thanks.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
It was
whatever.
actually you
Yeah.
that we didn't want to come
we had a
see.
meeting
Let's write
about
that
it.
down,
Yeah,
actually, because he's the.
Yeah, and then
All of us will be sick that day.
yeah, right. We have a 7-inch out called The Eco Terrorist in Me that came out on Record Store Day, and
Yep.
people can still check it out.
Sure.
So just been busy, really. Yeah.
I think that's awesome too. I don't want to call you I'll say seasoned because you guys have a lot of past behind you. But I think it's awesome to do stuff like the record, the independent record store day and do the things like
Yeah.
vinyl for those of us that are Rabid fans, just going, yeah, please, more. What do we got? What can we do? What's special? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's where we started. Even coming through Salt Lake City in a van and trailer back
Kilby
in the
Court.
day, playing
Right?
Kilby Court.
Yep.
Yeah, a long time ago, and then being on Fat Records. Fat Mike and Fat Records was our first opportunity to put records out and our introduction to the world. So indie records, obviously, have a big place in our hearts, not only as fans but as musicians.
Keeping it fresh. How do you guys do that?
I mean, the kids do that for you. They don't let you fake it. You know what I mean? Like you go out there and your fans demand a show. They drove a long way. They paid a lot of money. They're
It
there.
stood in a lot of rain.
It's in a lot of rain.
Died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think that we appreciate as musicians. And then for us, I mean, like you said, we've had a lot of records. So try to throw in some songs we haven't played in a while. Try to kind of mess with the songs a little bit, you know, like twist them up a little bit.
It's kind of like the ultimate release, I think, for us as musicians, and it's a great outlet. You know, I know that was my only form of self-expression growing up. I wasn't very vocal, but I expressed myself through music, and it still rings true to this day, I think.
You know, as I've been talking to bands recently, something that's really struck me is, like, your music means something to you guys. You write it with an intent. There's a story behind it, or maybe not necessarily a story within the music, but I remember where I was when I wrote that. But when you get some distance behind you, and it's been out there for a while, for a lot of people, like, oh, I remember this Rise Against song when I broke up with my girlfriend, and so that song takes on its whole identity, and so you are creating memories for people that isn't at all what you intended, but like I hear the Rise Against song, I'm like, oh yeah, that summer road trip, man, that was the best time ever.
And that's something that, like, people have such a personal connection with songs that way. It reminds me of that scene, I think it was a 40-year-old version of one of those movies where Paul Rudd is playing Rush for his wife on a laptop.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't get it.
Yeah, she's like,
and he's like, no, it's awesome. And then he listens back, he's like, well, it's pretty awesome. And then, you know, but she wasn't there when he heard that song with his buddies, like at the concert, like you weren't there when I heard The Descendants for the first time. And so trying to explain it to like a young kid these days, it's like, we all have our own connections. And so if Rise Against has 7 records, if you came into our story at a really tumultuous time in your life, you're going to find that record that means something to that song, that means something to you. Right. And that's something that's even more important than the band. It's that connection is something that we can't mess with. We can't touch that connection. You know, it's just something that's sort of, I don't know, intangible.
I like craziest fan stories. So give me craziest fan story. That you can legally tell me because of statute of limitations.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I once got a flash drive from a kid with like a picture of like my house and like
That's true.
like, all
For
this
real?
stuff. But it was like really excited about it. It wasn't like it was like, look it, I know all these things about you. Isn't that great? And I'm like, that's really scary.
Like where you live there presently?
Yeah, right.
Oh my
gosh. I
gosh.
was like, okay. But he was very proud of it. He wasn't like, you know, he thought it was like this was a thing that you would do. And I was like,
and if you look on this map, this is where I'll be waiting for you.
Yeah, right?
This is you sleeping.
Yeah. And I was like, do you mow lawns?
Yeah,
we can make an arrangement. Yeah.
You know where it is. Let's get this done.
Yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you guys here. So excited to have you back. And seriously, that doing whatever it takes so that we can have your music here in Salt Lake is so awesome.
You guys have been very supportive. All our fans here in Salt Lake have just been, we've had such amazing shows at the Great Salt Air and everywhere we come here. So we always look forward to playing here. We have an incredible fan base in Salt Lake City, so it's close to our hearts.
Well, we're the best. That's the problem.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I know you'll say that from stage later, but I just want to, I want to get this
right.
in this little documentation. It's the best.
It's the best. Is that legally binding?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially a contract that we've entered into.
True. Yeah. I think you're right.
The guys from Rise Against, thanks so much for taking a few minutes, and have a great show.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.